When trash like plastic bags and bottles make their way into the water, they can get caught on coral and block vital sunlight needed for photosynthesis and, of course, contribute to the death of thousands of reef organisms.
Now, there is a way to help coral while also honoring your loved ones.
Yeah, this is interesting. George Frankel is the founder of Eternal Reefs, a nonprofit that incorporates cremated remains into underwater memorials that support the growth of coral reefs. Thank you so much for being with us, George. How did this idea get started? What a way to kind of remember your loved ones is put them in the ocean.
Well, I was dealing with my brother had just been diagnosed as terminal. My mother's life was winding down. There wasn't going to be any room in our family cemetery plot for my brother or myself, and quite candidly, neither of us wanted to be buried. So I was working with another gentleman, Don Brawley, and he had been part of a group of divers from the University of Georgia who developed a technology called the reef ball. It's round, it's hollow, and it's vented. And it's designed to be extremely stable in the marine environment. When Don broached that to me, it seemed like it was a perfect memorial, certainly for me personally, and knowing my brother is now part of an artificial reef off of Galveston, Texas. So it really was just a harmonic convergence of a conversation and the reality that my life and my brother's lives were winding down.
All right, so how exactly, I see it says my dog, there were some names on it. How do you incorporate the human remains into the reefs?
One of the things that we do is we involve the family in the entire process. So the families can be as involved as they wish from the beginning to the end of the process. And in most cases, the families will bring their loved ones to wherever we're doing our project site. And they will have the opportunity to mix those cremated remains into liquid concrete into a form that we call a pearl. We then while the pearl is set aside to cure and dry, we then put fresh concrete on the top of the reef, and this is where the families get to personalize the reef. They'll put coins for where they may have traveled or tools from the job that they may have had. And at the end, you can take a look at the top of the reef, and you may well understand who that person was in real life just by virtue of the decorations that are put on top. The families take ownership. This becomes a lot more than my mother or my father's memorial. It becomes a tribute that I made to their lives with my own hands. And these people are now fully vested in the marine environment going forward. So we've got all of these values that are being placed when we go through these processes. It's environmental, it's positive, it's usually past the time of cremation or loss. So we don't generally deal with the real heavy emotional side of the loss.
One question I was thinking about just watching some of this video is how, and you talking about your brother off the coast of Galveston, how is it that you can decide where to put one of these? Does local governments have to get involved and be like, okay, this is an okay spot, this is not an okay spot?
Everything that Eternal Reefs does is permitted through a variety of state, federal, and local governmental agencies. So what we do is we work with the local coordinator, and they will identify the reef site and the spot on the reef site they would like for us to use. And we are responsible for making sure that we are within about 50 feet of whatever that spot is that they have designated for us. Everything that we do is regulated and permitted. And one of the big differences is that when we first started out, we decided right up front that we were really part of the reef building industry, much more than we were part of the funeral industry. We're reef builders, and we're using this opportunity to build public reefs with private money.
Wow.
How costly is this? You just mentioned money. Is this an expensive endeavor?
It ranges anywhere from about $3,000 up to about $9,000, depending upon the size of the reef that we're using. It is markedly less costly than certainly a standard funeral.
Absolutely.
So I'm just trying to think of different methods. So we talked about, earlier on the show about you can, make yourself become a tree, ultimately, putting yourself into an ocean, and basically it's, giving back to the planet, so to speak. Why should, other than the good that comes out of this, are there anything that you tell potential, visitors coming to ask questions that help, allow them to make this decision for themselves? Because I'm sure there's a lot of different avenues that they could go.
There is, and we'll start out by recognizing that no one memorial type is, the one that everybody is going to choose. We are very, very supportive of all of the natural burial programs that are out there. The Green Burial Council is a very important functionary, if you will, of making sure that we're seeing more and more migration towards green or natural burial processes. And we really don't try to convince people that this is what they want. They come to us and they say, this is what I'm wanting to do, or this is what Dad wanted, or if Dad had known about this, this is perfect for him. So we really don't have a hard selling approach to presenting this idea. The families come to us and they are pretty well focused on it.
Yeah. Makes sense. A lot of people want to be part of the ocean, and this is one way to do that.
Yeah.
George Frankel, thank you so much for the idea and, of course, for chatting with us.
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
I like
Appreciate
this
it.
for so many reasons.
Too.